Somebody say, it's not over. Come on, say it like you believe it. It's not over. See, the enemy wants you to believe that because they lost interest, because they walked away, because the fire seems to have dimmed, you lost your purpose, your value, your significance. But I came to tell you today, it's not over. When people lose interest in you, when doors close, when relationships shift, when opportunities dry up, that is not the time to give up. That's the time to get up, so let's talk about it. When people begin to pull away, when interest starts to fade, our first instinct is often to panic. We want to fix it, to chase after them, to demand answers. But reacting out of fear or insecurity only pushes people further away. Desperation is not attractive, and urgency often blinds us to the deeper reasons behind why things are shifting. Instead of reacting emotionally, we must take a step back and reflect. Reflection allows us to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. It gives us the clarity to see what is really happening beneath the surface instead of making rash decisions that could make things worse. Ask yourself, what changed? What shifted? Did their interest truly fade, or did I stop being the person who once captivated their attention? Sometimes we get so caught up in routine, in expectations, in comfort, that we stop bringing our best selves to the table. We assume relationships, whether personal or professional, will maintain themselves. But the truth is, anything left unattended will eventually lose its spark. So before pointing fingers, take a moment to reflect on what role you may have played in the distance that has developed. Have you been fully present? Have you been growing? Have you been intentional about adding value to the connection? Sometimes it's not even about what you did wrong, but about how life shifts people in different directions. Seasons change, priorities evolve, and the way someone once saw you may not be how they see you now, not because you are any less valuable, but because they are in a different place mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Reflection helps you discern whether this is a temporary shift or a necessary release. If you rush to react, you might fight for something that was meant to end, or lose an opportunity to restore something that just needed a moment of adjustment. Taking a step back also allows you to regain control over your emotions. When you act from a place of peace rather than panic, you position yourself to make wise decisions. Instead of texting them a dozen times, begging them to explain their distance, you can assess whether this is something worth pursuing. Instead of lowering your standards or compromising your values to regain someone's attention, you can choose to elevate yourself and see if they rise to meet you. When you reflect rather than react, you give yourself the power to attract, not chase. And let's not forget, sometimes the very act of pulling away yourself can reignite interest. When people see that you are not shaken by their distance, that you are secure in who you are, they start to wonder what they overlooked. Confidence is magnetic, but desperation repels. When you stop running after validation and start walking in self-assurance, you don't just attract people back, you attract the right people, the ones who truly recognize your value. Reflection is the key to power, reaction is the key to regret. Choose wisely. You cannot attract interest, attention, or opportunity when your own light has gone dim. People are naturally drawn to passion, energy, and confidence. But when you lose that fire within yourself, it affects everything around you. If someone has lost interest, if connections feel distant, if opportunities seem to be slipping away, the first thing you need to do is reignite your own fire. Because the truth is, you cannot expect anyone else to be excited about you when you are not even excited about yourself. Think about the times in your life when you felt unstoppable. What were you doing? How were you showing up? Chances are you were fully engaged, full of life, pursuing something that set your soul on fire. You didn't need to beg for attention because your energy naturally drew people in. You were living in purpose, and that alone made you magnetic. But over time, life happens. Responsibilities pile up. Disappointments creep in. You stop doing the things that once made you feel alive, and before you know it, that fire inside of you is nothing more than a flicker. But here's the good news. Your fire is not gone, it's just buried, and it is up to you to reignite it. Start by reconnecting with the things that once made you passionate. What are the dreams you put on hold? What are the skills, talents, or gifts that you stopped using? What are the activities that made you feel energized? It is easy to forget yourself when you are constantly trying to please others, maintain relationships, or meet expectations. But you cannot give from an empty place. You have to refill your own cup first. Sometimes the reason people lose interest is because they sense that you have lost your spark. If you have become stagnant, predictable, or uninspired, they may not even realize what has changed, but they feel the shift. Energy is contagious. And when yours is low, it affects your relationships, your work, and your ability to attract new opportunities. Instead of trying to force someone to pay attention to you, shift your focus to becoming the most engaged, passionate, and dynamic version of yourself. That energy alone will draw people in. It is also important to remember that reigniting your fire is not just about doing things. It is about shifting your mindset. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for someone to notice you, support you, or tell you that you are worthy. Start affirming yourself. Start believing in your own abilities again. Confidence is not given by others. It is cultivated from the moment you start walking with certainty, the moment you start carrying yourself with the energy of someone who knows their worth. Everything around you begins to shift. People are attracted to light, to energy, to passion. If you want to re-attract what has been lost, don't chase, shine. And when you reignite your own fire, the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will be drawn to you effortlessly. When someone pulls away, when opportunities seem to fade, or when things stop working the way they once did, the natural reaction is to chase. We want to fix it, to hold on, to prove our worth. But what you chase will run from you. The more you push, the further it drifts away. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to force something to stay, the key is to reposition yourself, to shift your energy, your focus, and your value so that you become something worth pursuing rather than someone who is always in pursuit. Chasing is rooted in fear. The fear of losing, the fear of rejection, the fear of being forgotten. But fear-based actions rarely produce the results we hope for. When you chase something, you communicate that it is more valuable than you are, that you need it more than it needs you. But that is not the position of power you were created to operate from. Instead of running after what is slipping away, stand firm in your identity. Reposition yourself in a way that makes others recognize what they are about to lose. Repositioning is not about being passive or indifferent. It is about shifting the dynamic. Instead of trying to pull people back in, elevate yourself to a place where they feel drawn to you. This means focusing on your own growth, purpose, and confidence. If you were overlooked for a promotion, instead of chasing validation, invest in developing your skills and becoming undeniably valuable. If someone lost interest in you, instead of begging for attention, start living in such a way that makes them wonder why they ever pulled away. When you reposition yourself, you change the way people perceive you. If you are always available, always pleading, always proving yourself, people will take you for granted. But when you step back, refocus, and operate from a place of self-worth, the energy shifts. You become the one who is observed, the one who is considered, the one who is in control. Sometimes the things we chase are distractions from what we are truly meant for. Not everyone who walks away is meant to stay. Not every missed opportunity is a loss. Sometimes rejection is redirection. By repositioning instead of chasing, you open yourself up to better things, relationships that reciprocate, opportunities that align with your value, and environments that celebrate you rather than tolerate you. This is about moving with intention. Stop running after what is not running after you. Stop forcing conversations, forcing connections, forcing doors to open that were never meant for you. Instead, step into your purpose with confidence. Focus on your growth, your purpose, your vision. And when you do, you will find that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right moments will come to you, not because you chased them, but because you positioned yourself in a way that made them undeniable. Let what is meant for you find you standing strong, not running weak. Reposition, don't chase. You were not created to live in doubt, to question your worth, or to beg for recognition. You were made with purpose, with power, with greatness inside of you. But life has a way of making you forget. Disappointments, failures, rejection, and seasons of struggle can make you question everything about yourself. You start to believe the lies that you are not good enough, that you don't matter, that your presence isn't valued. But today I am here to remind you, remember who you are. Before the rejection, before the heartbreak, before the setback, there was a version of you that was fearless. There was a time when you walked with confidence, when you believed in yourself, when you knew you were destined for more. And just because life tried to shake you, just because people tried to define you by your lowest moments, does not mean that your identity has changed. Who you are is not determined by circumstances or by the opinions of others. Your worth was established long before any of that. You have to stop allowing temporary struggles to make you forget your permanent identity. People may walk away, but that does not diminish your value. Opportunities may pass, but that does not mean your purpose is over. Failures may happen, but that does not mean you are a failure. When you remember who you are, you stop letting setbacks define you. You stop giving power to people who don't see your worth. You stop seeking validation from places that were never meant to affirm you. There is a confidence that comes when you truly know yourself. When you know who you are, you carry yourself differently. You speak with authority, you move with purpose, and you attract what aligns with your identity. You don't have to chase love, chase respect, or chase attention, because the right people and opportunities will be drawn to the strength of your presence. Think on it. When you walk into a room, do you shrink back or do you take up space like you belong there? When challenges come, do you crumble or do you remind yourself that you were built? When people treat you less than what you deserve, do you accept it or do you walk away knowing that something greater is ahead? You must reclaim your identity. Speak life over yourself. Declare who you are. Stop allowing the enemy to whisper lies in your ear. You are powerful. You are resilient. You are enough. When you truly embrace that, you stop begging for things that are beneath you. You stop waiting for permission to be great. It's time to rise up. It's time to walk boldly. It's time to take back everything you allowed doubt to steal from you. Remember who you are, because the moment you do, everything in your life will begin to shift. When something or someone pulls away, your first instinct might be to reach out in desperation. You want to fix it, to regain what was lost, to prove your worth. But re-engaging from a place of neediness is one of the quickest ways to push people and opportunities further away. When you come back into a situation looking for validation, approval, or reassurance, you put yourself in a powerless position. But when you re-engage with purpose, not out of fear, but out of confidence and clarity, you shift the entire dynamic in your favor. Neediness is rooted in lack. It says, I need you to see me. I need you to affirm me. I need you to want me so I can feel whole. But anytime you make someone else responsible for your sense of worth, you give them control over your emotions. The truth is, nobody wants to feel like they are someone else's lifeline. People are drawn to strength, to purpose, to self-assuredness, not to desperation. If you re-engage with someone, with an opportunity, or even with a lost dream, you must do so with a clear sense of why you are stepping back in. Take a moment to reflect. Why are you reaching out? Is it because you truly believe this connection or opportunity aligns with your future? Or is it because you are afraid of being alone, afraid of missing out, afraid of what life looks like without it? When you re-engage with purpose, you come from a place of wholeness, not emptiness. You are not looking to be filled. You are looking to contribute, to build, to add value. That shift in mindset makes all the difference. Re-engaging with purpose also means you must be better than you were before. If you are stepping back into something, don't come back as the same person. If it's a relationship, show up as someone who has grown, who is healed, who is emotionally stable. If it's a job opportunity, return with new skills, new insights, and a fresh perspective. If it's a passion or dream you once abandoned, come back with discipline, with strategy, with a renewed sense of commitment. Don't just show up transformed. When you lead with purpose, people take notice. They see the change in your energy. They see that you are not begging, you are offering something of value. And when you operate from that space, the response is different. People respect strength. They admire confidence. They are drawn to those who move with clarity and intention. So before you reach out, before you try to fix what was broken, ask yourself, am I coming back because I need something or because I have something to give? If the answer is the former, pause. Do the inner work. Reignite your own fire first. But if the answer is the latter, then move boldly, because when you re-engage from a place of holding on to what is not meant for you is one of the greatest sources of pain, frustration, and stagnation. We fight for things that are fading. We beg for people who have already checked out, and we cling to situations that no longer serve us, not because they are good for us, but because we are afraid of letting go. But real power, real growth, and real freedom come when you learn to release what is not meant for you. Letting go is not failure, it is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is recognizing that not everything and not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Sometimes we hold on because we have invested so much time, energy, and love into something. We think, if I just try a little harder, if I just do a little more, maybe I can make it work. But forcing something to fit where it no longer belongs only drains you. It robs you of your peace. It keeps you stuck in a place that was never meant to be your final destination. There is a reason doors close. There is a reason people leave. There is a reason opportunities pass. Not everything that you want is what you need. And sometimes what you think you need is actually blocking you from what is truly meant for you. Holding on to something unhealthy, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a job, or a dream that no longer aligns with your purpose, keeps your hands too full to receive something better. Resilience does not mean you didn't care. It does not mean you didn't try. It simply means you trust. You trust that if something was meant to be in your life, it would remain. You trust that when one thing ends, another will begin. You trust that walking away from what no longer fits will create space for something greater. Letting go is also about reclaiming your energy. Think about how much emotional weight you carry when you hold on to something that is no longer working. The overthinking, the worrying, the constant effort to make something feel right when deep down you know it's already gone. That is exhausting. But when you release, you make room for peace. You make room for clarity. You make room for the next chapter of your life to unfold without the burden of yesterday's struggles. You have to trust that what is meant for you will not require you to beg. It will not require you to shrink yourself. It will not leave you confused, depleted, or feeling less than. What is meant for you will align. It will flow. It will build you up instead of breaking you down. So let go with grace. Release with confidence. Walk away knowing that what is ahead of you is greater than what is behind you. When you stop clinging to what is not meant for you, you free yourself to finally receive what is. Somebody say, I receive it. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I declare right now, your fire is coming back. Your passion is returning. Your confidence is rising. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. You don't have to prove yourself to people who don't see your worth. You are enough. You are worthy, and what is meant for you is coming back to you. Give God a praise right there.